one of the most stellar stars on the face of the earth, Miss Sophia Loren.
That was 60 years ago. Now she's 90, and the changes to her face will make your jaw drop. The Italian beauty who once made Cary Grant beg her to marry him now looks completely different. Her skin, her hair, her body, nothing is the same. We found the most recent photos of her, and honestly, we were shocked. This is what happens when a sex symbol ages before your eyes. Sophia Loren was born as Sophia Villani Ciccolone on September 20th, 1934 in Rome. Her life started with struggle. Her father, Riccardo Ciccolone, was an engineer from a noble family, but he refused to marry her mother, Romilda Villani. He abandoned her and their children, leaving them with nothing. Sophia saw him only 3 times in her life, once when she was 5, again at 17, and finally in 1976, when he was on his deathbed. She forgave him, but never forgot the pain he caused. She grew up in Pozzuoli, near Naples, in a small house with her mother, younger sister Maria, and grandmother. Money was always tight. Her grandmother turned their living room into a tiny pub, selling homemade cherry liquor to American soldiers. Sophia helped by washing dishes and serving drinks. As an illegitimate child in conservative Italy, she faced constant judgment. Her mother's past made things harder. Romilda had once been considered a look-alike of Hollywood star Greta Garbo. She had won a chance to go to America and become an actress, but her parents refused to let her go. That lost opportunity haunted her, and she pushed Sophia toward a dream she never got to live. World War II made survival even more difficult. Pozzuoli was bombed often because of its port. During one attack, shrapnel hit Sophia's chin as she ran for cover. To escape the raids, her family hid in railway tunnels filled with rats and cockroaches. They laid thin mattresses on the gravel and tried to sleep while bombs exploded above them. Hunger became part of daily life. Malnutrition left Sophia so thin that other kids called her Sophia Stuzzicadenti, Sophia Toothpick. Her mother often came home with nothing but a single potato or a handful of rice. But despite it all, Sophia never gave up. Romilda believed her daughter was meant for more. She moved the family back to Rome, hoping Sophia could break into the film industry. Even though they barely had enough money to survive, she was determined. At 14, Sophia entered her first beauty contest. She didn't win, but film producers noticed her. She started working as an extra in movies and soon took the stage name Sophia Lazzaro. In 1950, at just 15 years old, she entered the Miss Italia pageant. She didn't win the crown, but the judges created a special title just for her, Miss Elegance. That small victory changed everything. It gave her the confidence to keep going and opened doors in Italian cinema. Her first step into the film industry came in 1951 when she was just 16. She appeared as an extra in Quo Vadis, a Hollywood epic filmed in Italy. The role was small. She played a slave girl, but it gave her a glimpse of the world she wanted to be part of. Around this time, she also worked as a model for Fumetti, Italy's popular photo comics. These magazines used real photographs instead of illustrations, telling dramatic stories with dialogue bubbles. Her striking looks made her a sought-after model, but she wanted more than just pictures on a page. Determined to make it as an actress, she started taking small roles in Italian films under the name Sophia Lazzaro. She appeared in low-budget productions like Il Voto, 1950, and Io sono il capataz, 1951. The roles were minor, but they helped her gain experience. Her big break came when she caught the attention of Carlo Ponti, a respected film producer. He saw her potential, arranged acting lessons for her, and helped her land bigger roles. Even in these early years, Loren refused to change her appearance to fit Hollywood's beauty standards. Some thought her wide mouth, strong chin, and long nose weren't photogenic. Some even suggested surgery. She ignored them. She knew her unique features made her stand out. In 1953, at 19 years old, she got her first leading role in Aida, an adaptation of Verdi's famous opera. The film was ambitious, and while Loren lip-synced to the voice of soprano Renata Tebaldi, her performance was filled with emotion. It was a turning point in her career. Critics praised her, and audiences noticed that she wasn't just another pretty face. She had real acting talent. Then came The Gold of Naples in 1954. Directed by Vittorio De Sica, one of Italy's greatest filmmakers, the film told several short stories. Loren played a pizza seller named Sophia, who loses her engagement ring while making pizzas. The role was playful, full of humor and charm. It proved she could handle both comedy and drama. De Sica became an important mentor, guiding her toward more challenging roles. That year alone, Loren appeared in 10 films. Her career was moving fast, and so was her transformation into a global star. Carlo Ponti believed her name needed to change to appeal to international audiences. At first, she used the name Sophia Lazzaro, but Ponti suggested something more elegant. Inspired by Swedish actress Märta Thoren, he came up with Sophia Loren. The change was subtle but powerful. It gave her a name that sounded sophisticated and unforgettable. Sophia Loren's journey to Hollywood was filled with passion, drama, and unforgettable performances. She made her American debut in The Pride and the Passion in 1957. The film, directed by Stanley Kramer, was a Napoleonic War epic starring Cary Grant and Frank Sinatra. Loren played Juana, a fiery Spanish woman caught between two men during a dangerous mission to transport a massive cannon across Spain. The film itself had mixed reviews, but Loren's presence was undeniable. Her flamenco dance scene became legendary, turning her into one of Hollywood's most captivating new stars. She followed with Houseboat in 1958, a romantic comedy that paired her with Grant again. This time, she played an Italian woman hired as a nanny by a widowed father. The film highlighted her charm and sense of humor, winning over American audiences. That same year, she starred in Desire Under the Elms, based on Eugene O'Neill's play. This was a darker role. She played Anna, a passionate woman caught in a tragic love story with Anthony Perkins's character. In 1960, she starred opposite Clark Gable in It Started in Naples, a light-hearted romance set in Italy. Loren played Lucia, a cabaret singer who gets caught up in a custody battle. The film was a hit, mixing romance with stunning Italian scenery. It was also Gable's final film, released during his lifetime. By now, Loren had proven she could move effortlessly between comedy and drama, making her one of the most sought-after actresses in Hollywood. Then came Two Women in 1961, a film that changed her career forever. Directed by Vittorio De Sica, it told the story of Cicera, a mother trying to protect her daughter during World War II. The film's most devastating moment came when both characters were brutally assaulted by soldiers. Loren's performance was raw and heartbreaking. It shocked audiences with its realism. She won the Academy Award for Best Actress, becoming the first person to win an Oscar for a non-English-speaking role. She was only 25. This role almost never happened. Originally, Loren was cast as the daughter, with Anna Magnani set to play Cicera. But Magnani stepped down and Loren took the lead. It was the right decision. She won 22 international awards for her performance, including honors from Cannes and BAFTA. The success of Two Women put Italian cinema on the world stage. Throughout her career, Loren had an incredible partnership with Marcello Mastroianni. They starred in 13 films together over 4 decades, creating some of Italian cinema's most iconic moments. Their chemistry shined in Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow in 1963, where Loren played 3 different women in 3 separate stories. The film won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. In 1964, they reunited for Marriage Italian Style. Loren played Filomena, a former prostitute fighting for love and respect. This role earned her another Oscar nomination. Loren once said she would take any role with Mastroianni without even reading the script. Their friendship and trust made their films unforgettable. They became a symbol of Italian cinema's golden age. Sophia Loren's love life was as dramatic as the films she starred in. Her relationship with Carlo Ponti began when she was just 15, and he was already a well-established film producer, 22 years her senior. They met during a beauty contest in Rome in 1950. Loren wasn't even a contestant at first, just an extra in the crowd, but Ponti saw something in her. He slipped her a note, encouraging her to enter. That moment changed her life. Ponti became her mentor before he became her lover. He guided her career, helped her refine her craft, and even supported her in learning English. But there was one problem. He was already married. In deeply Catholic Italy, divorce wasn't recognized, making their relationship a legal and moral minefield. By the time Loren turned 19, they were undeniably in love, but they couldn't be together openly. Desperate for a way forward, Ponti secured a divorce in Mexico, which allowed them to marry by proxy in 1957. But in Italy, this wasn't just controversial, it was illegal. Ponti was accused of bigamy, and Loren was charged with illegal cohabitation. The scandal made headlines, and the couple faced enormous pressure. The only solution was to have the marriage annulled in 1962 to avoid prosecution. For years, they lived in a legal limbo, unable to be officially husband and wife. Their love endured, and eventually, they found a way. Ponti's first wife helped by obtaining French citizenship, allowing her to divorce him legally. With that hurdle finally cleared, Loren and Ponti married in France in 1966. It had taken 16 years, but they had won. While all of this was unfolding, another man entered Loren's life, Cary Grant. In 1957, while filming The Pride and the Passion, Grant fell for her. He was 30 years older, married, and completely captivated. He wrote her love letters, sent gifts, and even proposed. One evening, after a long day on set, he asked her to marry him as the sun set behind them. Loren was torn. Grant was charming, handsome, and one of Hollywood's biggest stars, but she couldn't abandon Ponti. He had been there since the beginning, guiding her through every step of her career. Choosing Grant meant leaving behind everything she knew, her home, her culture, and the man who had shaped her life. In the end, she stayed with Ponti, later admitting that while she had feelings for Grant, her heart belonged to the man who had believed in her from the start. Despite their rocky start, Loren and Ponti's marriage lasted over 5 decades. They built a life together that withstood scandals, legal battles, and the pressures of fame. But their love story wasn't without heartbreak. For all of Loren's success, becoming a mother was one of the hardest battles she ever faced. She suffered 2 devastating miscarriages that left her emotionally shattered. The first happened in 1963 while filming a car scene for a movie. She was 29, an age that at the time was considered late for a first-time mother, and the loss was crushing. What made it worse was the way she was treated in the hospital. She later recalled how the staff showed no compassion, as if her pain didn't matter, because she was a movie star. Her second miscarriage, 4 years later, was even more painful. This time, she had taken every precaution. She canceled work, followed doctor's orders, and did everything she could to protect her pregnancy. But it still wasn't enough. The doctor who treated her after the loss delivered a brutal verdict. "You're a beautiful woman with excellent hips, but you will never have a child." The statement devastated Loren, but it also fueled her determination. She sought help from a specialist who diagnosed a hormonal imbalance, preventing her body from sustaining a pregnancy. With treatment, strict bed rest, and sheer willpower, she finally became a mother. In 1968, at the age of 34, she gave birth to her first son, Carlo Ponti Jr. 4 years later, she had her second son, Eduardo. Both pregnancies were far from easy. She spent months confined to a hotel room under medical supervision and endured daily hormone injections. Even on set, her dressmaker would administer the injections, ensuring she did everything possible to carry her pregnancies to term. After becoming a mother in 1968, Sophia Loren stepped away from the spotlight, taking on fewer roles and focusing more on Italian cinema, but she never disappeared completely. In 1974, she teamed up with Richard Burton for The Voyage, the final film directed by Vittorio De Sica. That same year, she starred in a remake of Brief Encounter, which premiered on American television as part of the Hallmark Hall of Fame series. While these projects kept her in the public eye, it was The Cassandra Crossing in 1976 that gave her a true box office hit, performing well both internationally and in the United States. Her next big success came in 1977 with A Special Day, where she reunited with longtime co-star Marcello Mastroianni. Directed by Ettore Scola, the film was set in Rome on May 8, 1938, the day Hitler visited Mussolini. Loren played Antonietta, a weary housewife stuck in a loveless marriage. Her world changes when she meets her neighbor Gabriele, played by Marcello Mastroianni, a radio journalist whose career and life are in danger because of his homosexuality under Mussolini's fascist rule. The story unfolds almost entirely within the walls of their apartment complex, making every glance and conversation feel deeply personal. Loren, known for her confidence and glamour, stripped all of that away. She became a woman trapped by routine, worn down by expectations, desperate for a moment of connection. Critics praised the performance as one of her most profound. She won the David D. Donatello Award for Best Actress, proving that she was more than a star. She was a serious, dramatic actress. The film itself earned 2 Academy Award nominations, including Best Foreign Language Film. Decades later, in 2008, Italy's Ministry of Cultural Heritage named it one of the 100 Italian films to be saved, cementing its place in history. After this, Loren stepped back from the fast pace of Hollywood, choosing her projects carefully. But when she did return, she made sure people noticed. In 1994, she starred in Pret-a-Porter, a satirical comedy drama by Robert Altman. The film had an ensemble cast and premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. Loren reunited with Mastroianni in a playful nod to their past films together. While reviews for the movie were mixed, audiences loved seeing Loren on screen again. She wasn't just making an appearance, she still had the same charm and presence that made her a legend. Then, in 2009, she took on a role in 9, a film inspired by Federico Fellini's 8½. She played Mama Contini, the mother of Guido, played by Daniel Day-Lewis. The cast included Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, Marion Cotillard, and Judi Dench, but Loren stood out in her own way. The film had its critics, but Loren's presence added weight and elegance to the story. She was nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award as part of the ensemble, proving that even after so many years, she belonged in the conversation. But the most personal and powerful projects came from her collaborations with her son, Edoardo Ponti. In 2014, he directed her in Voce Umana, Human Voice, a short film based on a play by Jean Cocteau. Loren played a widow in 1950s Naples, having one final heartbreaking phone call with her lover. The film was simple, just her voice, her face, and raw emotion. She didn't need grand sets or big moments. Every glance, every pause told a story. Then, in 2020, at the age of 86, Loren took on The Life Ahead, another film directed by Ponti. She played Madame Rosa, a Holocaust survivor who forms an unlikely bond with a young Senegalese boy named Momo. The film, based on Romain Gary's novel The Life Before Us, explored survival, love, and resilience. Released on Netflix during the COVID-19 pandemic, it became an international success, appearing in the platform's top 10 lists in 37 countries. The performance earned Loren an AARP Movies for Grown-Ups Award for Best Actress and nominations from multiple film organizations. On May 19, 1982, Sophia Loren walked into a women's prison near Naples. She was 47 years old, a global star, and one of Italy's most beloved actresses. Now, she was serving a 30-day sentence for tax evasion. The charge stemmed from a mistake in her 1963 to 64 tax filings. Her accountant had miscalculated her earnings by 5 million lire, about $7,000 at the time. It wasn't a deliberate crime, but the courts ruled against her. In the end, she served 17 days before being released. The reaction across Italy was intense. Fans waited at the airport when she arrived from Geneva. Crowds gathered outside the prison, singing Neapolitan songs and sending flowers. Some believed she was unfairly punished. Others argued she should be treated like any other citizen. Loren could have continued fighting the case, but she chose to serve her time and move on. She later described the experience as deeply painful. Rumors spread that she received special treatment in prison, but she denied them all. No luxury, no pink carpets, no private room. She lived like the other inmates, sharing space with women convicted of serious crimes. She barely ate. She spent her time reading, waiting for the days to pass. Her legal troubles didn't end there. A separate tax dispute over her 1974 income dragged on for nearly 40 years. The issue was whether she should be taxed on 60% or 70% of her earnings that year. Loren insisted that payments from her film Il Viaggio placed her in a lower tax bracket. Italian authorities disagreed. The case became a symbol of the country's complicated tax system. Finally, in 2013, when Loren was 79, Italy's Supreme Court ruled in her favor. The court acknowledged that her earnings were covered under a 1982 tax amnesty law. After nearly 4 decades, the battle was over. Loren called the decision a miracle of justice. Loren wasn't just an actress. In 1982, she launched her own perfume line, long before celebrity fragrances became popular. She also wrote a cookbook, Eat With Me, which combined Italian recipes with personal stories. It featured 100 dishes inspired by her grandmother, who had learned to cook during wartime shortages. She often said that food connected her to her past. Even as a Hollywood star, she loved cooking for her family, especially during Christmas. Her time in Hollywood wasn't always easy. On the set of El Cid in 1961, tensions grew between Loren and Charlton Heston. He resented her higher salary and her demand for an Italian script translation. Their working relationship became so strained that Heston allegedly refused to look at her during certain scenes. Then, in 1967, while filming A Countess from Hong Kong, she clashed with Marlon Brando. Brando's behavior on set made her uncomfortable. She confronted him, making it clear that she wouldn't tolerate his actions. One of her most famous feuds was with Gina Lollobrigida. For years, rumors swirled about a rivalry between the two Italian stars. Lollobrigida often claimed Loren was the one who started it. Loren dismissed the accusations, refusing to engage in the media spectacle. Whether real or exaggerated, the tension between them only added to her mystique. Sophia Loren's career is filled with moments that changed cinema forever. She has won some of the most prestigious awards in the industry, proving that her talent and presence have shaped film history in ways few can match. In 1991, she received an honorary Academy Award for being one of the genuine treasures of world cinema. This wasn't just about her acting, it was a recognition of how she brought international cinema to a global audience. 4 years later, she was honored with the Cecil B. DeMille Award at the Golden Globes. This award is one of Hollywood's highest lifetime achievements, given only to those who have left a lasting impact. Loren became one of the few non-American actors to receive it, showing how her influence reached far beyond Italy. Her accomplishments go even further. She holds a record 7 David Di Donatello Awards, Italy's version of the Oscars, for Best Actress. These awards span 6 decades, from 2 women in 1960 to The Life Ahead in 2020. She has also won 5 special Golden Globes, a BAFTA, and even a Grammy for her spoken word performances. At festivals like Cannes and Venice, she has been recognized for her unforgettable roles. Even in her 80s, Loren delivered performances that proved her brilliance never faded. In The Life Ahead, directed by her son, Edoardo Ponti, she played Madame Rosa, a Holocaust survivor who cares for children in need. The role won her another David de Donatello Award at 86. Very few actors have had such a long and successful career, but Loren has always been more than just an actress. Her awards represent more than trophies. They reflect a career that inspired generations, a career that made her a legend not just in Italy, but around the world. In 2007, Loren's life changed forever when she lost her husband, Carlo Ponti. Their love story was unlike any other. They met in 1950 when she was just 15, and he was nearly 40. Ponti, a respected film producer, saw something special in her. Over the years, they built a life together, but their relationship faced challenges. Legal complications forced them to annul their first marriage before they could legally marry in France in 1966. Through it all, they remained devoted to each other. Their marriage lasted more than 40 years, raising two sons, Carlo Jr. and Edoardo. When Ponti passed away at 94, Loren was devastated. In her autobiography, Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow, My Life, she described the pain of losing him, calling it an experience that made her feel completely alone. Despite her grief, she found strength in their memories. She often spoke about how Ponti's support shaped her career and how his love remained with her. She stayed close to her sons and grandchildren, living in Switzerland but visiting them often. Even after his passing, she credited Ponti for her success, calling him the most important influence in her life. On September 20th, 2024, Loren celebrated her 90th birthday. It was a moment to reflect on a lifetime of achievements, love, and resilience. Leading up to the occasion, she spoke about the choices that shaped her life. One of the biggest was choosing Ponti over Hollywood star Cary Grant. In the late 1950s, Loren and Grant had a brief romance, and he even asked her to marry him. But Loren chose Ponti, later explaining that Carlo was Italian. He belonged to my world. Her birthday was celebrated across Italy and beyond. Italian President Sergio Mattarella called her one of the greatest stars in cinema history, praising her elegance and talent. Though she stepped away from acting full-time after becoming a mother in the 1970s, her legacy remained strong. Her films continued to inspire, and her name was still recognized worldwide. At 90, Loren remained a symbol of grace and wisdom. She focused on her family and supported causes she cared about. Her life was a perfect balance between personal happiness and professional achievement. Beyond acting, Loren spent much of her life helping others. In 1994, she became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, using her fame to support children's rights. She worked on education and healthcare programs, bringing attention to struggling communities. She didn't just talk about change, she took action. During the Somali refugee crisis in the 1990s, she supported the UNHCR, helping to bring awareness to over 1 million displaced people. In 2016, she attended a charity event in Georgia to raise funds for children in need of life-saving surgeries. Even in her 80s, she remained committed to making a difference. In recent years, she focused on women's empowerment and poverty relief. She believed that success wasn't just about personal achievements, but about using one's voice to help others. Her son Edoardo once said that his mother brought the same passion to humanitarian work that she brought to acting.